Okay, in this tutorial we'll continue looking at the particle fluids or fluid particles, either way. And let's see, notice up in here, they just look like a bunch of spheres all put together. I don't think I can stop this, can I? I don't think. Usually I can't stop this simulation in midstream for some reason. It doesn't work. Maybe if I do it like this. Let me use the arrow keys. Okay, I'll get the arrow keys in there, and then I'll bring the particles down so we can stop it. Alright, there they are. So the movement's nice, but the shapes of the objects don't really cut it. And usually I'm in ray trace mode because when I make a final rendering, if I want to do, say, volumetric lighting, a lot of times, like in that cartoon one, I had it set as volumetric rendering here, and then you have to change your settings accordingly. And a lot of that is, just hit or miss. I can't really get that down to a science yet as far as the perfect way to set it the way I want it. But so if I want to run things in real time like this, a couple things I can do to optimize the performance is I'll take it out of ray trace mode and use Z transparency mode, and then I'll drop the alpha down like this here. And you can see just by doing that you start getting this transparent like effect, and I'm in texture mode here within Blender Render like that. And you can start seeing through. Let's just drop it all the way and kind of give you an idea. Right, so it does have it plays a nice effect, and it kind of takes away the hard edges associated with the individual objects. Alright, so let's just drop it down a little bit like that. Alright, so it's one little thing that can help, and let's continue running it and see how it looks. Well, that's better. I mean, it's a little bit better, and it doesn't really hurt the performance too bad. You still see those edges on the outside like that. Oh no, where'd they go? And they decided to go away. Alright. Must have been at the end of their lifetime. Alright, and then other things, maybe the sphere is not the right object, or maybe it's just too big, so we could come up here and grab the sphere. Well, it's actually already selected, so I'll just make sure it's around the median point of the sphere, so I'm just going to scale that in Z right here. Let's do it around the individual object. Might be easier. Alright, I guess I need to get closer to the object. SZ. Alright, I've crunched them down. So then these should be all crunched down in size. Unless I had the wrong one. That should have crunched down. All those objects should have changed. Maybe I need to run it for them to change. They usually change in real time. Well, that is the oddest thing. That never happens. I don't really understand what's happening there. That should have changed those dynamically. Huh. Alright, well, I'm going to have to work on that. That's just kind of that's an oddity to me why that's happening. So anyway, so the alpha can be one thing, and then the object itself, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Yeah, I'll fix it. Yes, I'll add a sphere. One thing, we're going to add a sphere, and then we're going to come over here. Instead of making it so big, we'll make it much smaller. Fewer faces, essentially. So less to process. Okay, there that is, and then I'm going to scrunch that down in Z. And it doesn't really matter the size here because the size is changed in the particle system. So then I'm going to go to the particle system. What was the name of that guy? That's sphere.001. I'll type SP, that find it, sphere.001. Alright, and then for its material, now I should be processing many fewer faces. So if we look at it up close, see it's not as spherical as the other one, so it should be processing a lot less. And then why it's not showing up there is that color. Okay, so there they are. And so if that's the case, then we should be able to go into the particle system associated with this here, and maybe we'll try doubling the number of particles. We'll crank it up to 6,000. Because we have not near as many faces, and you can count the way to find out how many faces you have. If we'll stop this just for a second, let's go look at both of those spheres individually. Here's the original one. You need to go into edit mode, and in edit mode you can come up here and it says, okay, that has 512 faces, and then I'll come into here. If you don't go into edit mode, it tells you how many total faces are in the scene, and then within edit mode that has 36 faces, so a fraction of the size of the other one. So theoretically, we should be able to put even more than 6,000 spheres into the scene. We'll crank it up here, and we'll just see what it's capable of doing here in a second. I'm on a GTX 470 card. So it's moving pretty good. And all right, let's see. Still, well, we're already down to 9.4 frames a second. So of course it's because it's got to do a lot more processing, but it's already looking pretty good there. Let's see from a distance. You know, so you're making your scene from a distance. You can add all kinds of extra effects to that to make that come to life. It looks pretty good. And then, well, just because I am curious, we're here. We'll just crank it up. We'll just crank it up. We'll just see how bad it goes. All right, about 9,000. Let's see if we can handle it. Starts out at 2018. Let's see. There you go. Well, so maybe the individual objects are a little bit rougher, but anyway, that kind of gives you an idea. Well, that's a lot of particles that's moving around in real time, or almost real time, 7 frames per second. That's not really real time, but all right. I hope that gives you just one more tidbit of an idea to help you out along the way in your animations, and I'll see you in the next lesson.